When it feels like the dark lingers longer than the night, when the shadows feel like giants, are you chasing me down? Tell me, where could I run from your light? Where could I hide? Hands within your precious thoughts. There's no hiding from your love. Highs and lows, Lord, you're with me either way it goes. Should I rise or should I fall? Even so, Lord, your mercy is an even flow. You're too good to let me go. Should I dance on the heights or make my bed among the dead? Your mercy waits at every end, like you planned it from the start. Should the dawn come with wings or find me far side of the sea, there your hand still fastens me, ever closer to your heart. Oh, highs and lows, Lord, you're with me the way it goes. Should I rise or should I fall? Even so, Lord, your mercy is an even flow. Should I rise or should I fall? You are faithful through it all. You're too good to let me go. search me out, now I'm caught up in your grace. I heard my name across the ocean. You pulled me closer, the current changed. You showed me life, a new horizon, a silver lining, a brand new day. And I'm like, ooh, I can't find the words to say. And oh, you're higher than all my ways, and Lord, it's you who opened my eyes to see and poured out your heart for me. My God, you're indescribable in every way. You search me out, and now I'm caught up in your grace. I just can't fathom it, I can't make sense of how your love so undeserved never ends. You give me freedom, release me breathless. My glimpse of heaven is life with you. Now there's no fighting this gracious rhythm. I lift my hands high in praise to you. Now every time I go, I can't find the words to say. And oh, you're higher than all my ways, and Lord, it's you who opened my eyes to see and poured out your heart for me. My God, you're indescribable in every way. You search me out, and now I'm caught up in your grace. I just can't fathom it, I can't make sense of how your love so undeserved and never ends. You're indescribable, ooh, 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 so indescribable, ooh, ooh, ooh. You're indescribable, ooh, 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 so indescribable, ooh, ooh, ooh. Break it down, here we go. Perfect love took my place. Only Jesus, only grace. What compares? What comes close? Where you call me, I will go. I just can't fathom it, I can't make sense of how your love so undeserved and never ends. And at the realms don't know, ooh, 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 so indescribable, ooh, ooh, ooh. You're indescribable, ooh, 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 so indescribable, ooh, ooh, ooh.
Hi guys, welcome to church. It's great to have you with us. A big hello if it's your first time joining us. If you're watching on Facebook, say hello in the comments. If you're watching on the online platform, it'd be great to see you saying hello down the side. It'll be just down that side, or is it that side? I can't work it out, but say hi. It's great to have you with us. Thank you for joining us. What we're going to do now is we're going to go into a little bit of time of worship. I know it's different being at home, but I'd really encourage you to actively take part, to go for it and to enter into this. Let's go for it.
Here's to the one who made the morning bright. Here's to the one who taught the stars to shine. Here's to the one who graced the dead of night. Pulled me from the dark, set my heart alight. Hey! Here's to the one who made my heart to sing. Opened up my eyes, washed away my sin. Here's to the one who gave his life for mine. Broke all my chains and set me free, alright. To the way, to the truth, to the life I live in the free. By his blood we're washed clean. Now we have the victory. The power of sin is broken. Jesus overcame it all. He has won our
that was great. That was really, really good. I love that time of worship. I'm just going to pray for us. Father God, I want to thank you for that great time of worship. I want to thank you that we're able, even though we can't meet together, we can still worship you at home. That we can have our own time of worship together, that we can enter into a presence with you, and that we can do that in such a personal way. And I want to thank you that we have this amazing stuff that we can have online, where we can see people worshipping and we can take part in that. I thank you for this time we've had, Lord. Amen. Thank you, guys. So now we're going to move into our time of offering. This is our chance to give to what's happening in the church. We still need to fund this, we still need to keep it going. So all the information will come up. You can give online, you can give to the Church Suite app, you can give to the website. There's lots of different ways that you can give. So all I encourage you to do is to just give. Also, we'd love to pray for you. We as a church really strongly believe in prayer. So if you have any prayer requests at all, send them through. Send us an email, send it in the comments, messages, anything you need to do. If we can pray for you in any way, it'd be great to have that opportunity, but we need to know. Let us know and we'll pray. And we believe in a God that answers prayers. So let's do it.
We're going to be watching a Parenting for Faith course starting this week on Monday, and we'd love you to be a part of it if you're involved in the life of a child. Helping our children to know Jesus is one of the greatest challenges, but also greatest joys of being a parent. It's not something we can leave to chance or that we can leave to the kids' pastors to do for us. It's something that we need to play a part in. And I know that as a mum, raising children can feel a bit like a long list of to-dos. We've got to take them to football and piano and all the other activities and school and homework. And I know at the minute things are a bit different, but it can seem like discipling our kids or helping them to know Jesus is just another thing on an endless to-do list that we have to put into our calendar. And this course is brilliant because it explains that discipling our kids is nothing like that. It gives us great tips and ideas to how to bring talking to Jesus, developing faith in Jesus, becoming a disciple of Jesus just into everyday life, the ordinary things that we do, the conversations that we have over the dinner table and on the school run. And so it's really great content. We'd love you to be a part of it. You can join us to watch it online on Monday nights and discuss together. We're also going to be sending out the links if you're interested, so you can watch in your own time if you can't make Monday night. If you're able to come on a Monday night just for the discussion but you've already watched the video, that's also fine. Please see the details and the sign up on Church Suite and book your place today. Anything to add?
Wouldn't it be great if helping our children find faith was as straightforward as giving them a magic pill?
The Veggie Pill. Big brains, big hearts, and everlasting faith, all in one tiny bite. Only $9.99 from all participating retailers.
Well, it doesn't work like that. It's better. God designed a way for our children to meet and know Him. It happens in the ordinary, everyday, mundane bits of life. And we, as parents, get to be the most significant part of that, just as we are. Whether you're a parent, grandparent, godparent, friend, or family, the Parenting for Faith course is here to help you share the reality of a life lived with God.
I think the course really helped me to think about how much of a role I have in talking to my kids and introducing them to faith and helping them work it out.
I've got 7.5 grandchildren, so I think there's more to learn about helping children relate to God.
In each session, you'll gain tools and tips from the videos, reflect on what might work for you, and connect with others.
Rachel's style is really easy to watch and draws you in a very relaxed and informal way.
And when you meet together to pray with other people and to talk about your child's faith, it's helpful to know you're not alone.
You'll grow in confidence to help your kids of all ages meet and know God.
I would definitely recommend the course because it's fantastic, not just for parents, I would say. It's just great for you thinking about your own faith.
I think it's like no other parenting course, and in some ways it isn't a parenting course. It's about teaching the kids to have a relationship with God, which is absolutely awesomely exciting.
The people that have done the course are very excited. I've had people who have then said, I'm going to show the links to the grandparents of my child now, to other people who are influences in my child's life.
So come, be encouraged, because God has perfectly positioned you to do this just as you are.
There is little in life that gets me more excited or pumped up than seeing someone come to know Jesus for the first time. Watching them commit their life to Jesus, whether that be in person or online. I love being able to pray with people as they decide to start following Jesus. I don't know if you've ever had that experience. If you have, you know what I'm talking about. But it's interesting, because as amazing as those experiences are, and as much as we look forward to them, it isn't what the Bible asks us to do. The Bible doesn't tell us to go out and make converts, but rather to go and make disciples. Being a disciple isn't a one-time thing. It isn't a moment or experience that we have, but rather it's a commitment that we make. It's a journey that we go on as we decide to follow Jesus, to go where he goes, to do as he does, and to live as he lives. We want to help make the best disciples, and that includes those who are new to faith, but also those who have been in church for ages. We are all called to be disciples, and so we all need to be growing as disciples the whole time. That is why we are running a 7-week course called Making Disciples. It's a course for everyone who is serious about their walk with God, who wants to be equipped to live as a disciple of Christ and live in relationship with him. It's less of a course and more of a mini apprenticeship framework for us all, and I believe that it will help you discover more of your calling and gifting, as well as helping us to see areas in our lives where we can grow and draw closer to God. Right at the heart of this course is a shape-finding tool which helps to reveal a bit about our shape as Christians and will show us where we may need to invest more. Then, in the 7 weeks of the course, we will look at our heads, our hands and our heart. You know, as disciples of Jesus, we are called to use our minds to grow in knowledge of him, to use our hands to be active in serving him, and to be filled with desire and passion for him in our hearts. However, we can be overdeveloped in one area and underdeveloped in other areas. We can end up with big heads and hearts but small hands, or big hearts and small hands and heads. Our challenge is to understand ourselves and seek to invest in areas of our lives other than our predominant areas. In many areas of life, it's good to play to our strengths, but when it comes to discipleship, we need to be holistic and well-rounded in all areas. That's why I would love for you to join me on a journey to becoming better disciples. We're going to run this course online on Thursday nights, starting by watching a video together before discussing some of the content in groups. So I'd love for you to click the link and sign up today. If you want to become a better disciple, and I know I do, I'd love for you to join me on Making Disciples.
Next up, we've got our awesome preach. So sit back, listen, take notes, have your Bible ready, preach, go.
Hey, so let me ask you a question. Do you ever get angry? Now, be careful as you answer this, or be careful who you look at as you answer this question. If you're sat with your husband or wife, don't look at them if they get angry, because you may just be making them angry right now. But do you get angry? And I reckon the answer is yes. I get angry, and you probably get angry as well. I think we all get angry, and we all know people who are angry as well. If you don't know anyone that's angry, like, I don't know where you live or what you do, all you need to do is go on Facebook and you will see angry people. We get angry about all sorts of things. I get angry when I drive, usually blaming other car drivers for what is most likely actually my fault anyway. And if you are surprised thinking, no way, Marcus, our pastor, gets angry, it is true. Ask my children, because I get angry at them when they don't tidy up, when they don't do as I've been told. I think they think I'm like Jekyll and Hyde. I can go from fun to getting angry really quickly. We get angry about politics. We get angry about coronavirus. We get angry about schools closing. We get angry about schools not closing. We get angry about church closing. We get angry about church not
closing, we all get angry. We get angry about Brexit. We get angry about things that we are passionate about. We can get angry, and being angry can be a dangerous emotion that we have, and we need to learn to manage that emotion, but also to use that to our advantage. Hey, it may surprise you, because when we think about Jesus, we think, Jesus is love, joy, peace. He's all of these, and he is all of those things. But Jesus also showed anger as an emotion too. And so don't worry if you do get angry, you're in good company, because even Jesus got angry. Now, don't use that as an excuse to get angry all of the time. Jesus wasn't angry all of the time, but he did get angry about certain things. And that's what we're going to look at this morning. When Jesus got angry, how Jesus got angry, and most importantly, what Jesus then did when he got angry. So maybe you've been told that anger's a sin, and I don't quite think that anger is a sin, but I think it's something we need to be really careful about, because it's something that can lead us into sin quite easily. I think when we get angry, we can make silly mistakes, and we can do things that we wouldn't normally do. You can probably think of some circumstances in your life when you've done things that have made you get angry, and then you've done something that you probably regret afterwards. A wise man once told me, he said, Marcus, when you get angry, he said, write it down in a letter, as if you're complaining to someone or you want to deal with that situation. Write everything down and then wait. He said, wait a day, maybe 2 days, and then reread that letter before you go to send it. And he said, I guarantee you, you will not want to send that letter. And he is right. He's always been right. You know what? I've never wanted to send that letter afterwards, because anger, that emotion, can cause us to do things that we would not want to do. So we need to be really careful when we get anger. It says in Ephesians 4, it says, in your anger, do not sin. Do not let the sun go down on your anger unless it gives the devil a foothold. So whilst anger isn't a sin as such, it is something we need to be really careful about, how we deal with that, how we respond to our feelings of anger. But I think anger can be something positive as well, because anger can cause us to do something about situations that are not right, about situations that are unjust, actually, about situations that should not be happening in our world. And anger can cause us to become passionate about those situations, so much to a point that we do something about it, where we say, I cannot stand this injustice anymore. I need to change this injustice. But we have to examine why we get angry. We have to look at the reasons and say, well, why am I angry about this? What is causing me to think this way? Because there are so many things that influence us. There are so many cultures in our world, and there are dominant cultures in our world that influence the way we think, and maybe they cause you to get angry about situations that we shouldn't get angry about. And I think we need to look at our lives and say, well, what actually causes me to get angry about these situations? Is it the culture of the world? Is it the way that I was raised? Is it this factor or this factor? Or is it because God has put this on my heart? Is it because actually the Bible says this is unjust, this is not right, and we need to do something about it? We need to examine why we get angry. We need to look at the motives. We need to look at our worldview and say, why am I getting angry about this situation? Maybe you're not quite sure. Hey, and if you really want to take up the challenge today of changing what we get angry about, I challenge you, why don't you write down an anger journal? So every time you get angry, write it down. Now, for some of us, this may take us a long time if we are particularly angry people. If we get angry all of the time, it may take you ages to do, but I think it'll be worth it. Write it down. Write down when you get angry, and then analyze why you get angry. Why did I get angry about this situation? What caused me to get angry about this or about that? And I think it will change our worldview, and we can begin to realize why we get angry at certain situations, what causes that anger. And then when we know why we get angry and what's causing that anger, we can begin to act upon that anger in different ways. So the most famous example of Jesus getting angry in the Bible. We find it in Matthew. And Matthew chapter 21, verses 12 to 14. So if you've got your Bible, why don't you open it up and we can quickly read that together. It says this: Jesus entered the temple courts and drove out all those who were buying and selling there. He overturned the tables of the money changers and the benches of all those selling doves. It is written, he said, that my house will be called a house of prayer, but you are making it into a den of robbers. The blind and lame came to him and he healed them. And that's probably the most famous story we find in the Bible of Jesus getting angry to a point where he overturned the tables of those who were basically ripping people off. So it's an incredible story where Jesus does something completely dramatic, completely unexpected, and perhaps completely something out of character for him. And I want to just draw out 3 points from this short text that we find in Matthew 21. Noting what Jesus does, how Jesus does it is well. And I think it's really important just to see when Jesus gets angry, he knows who he's getting angry for. You know, in that time, it was busy in Jerusalem. Not only was Jesus entering in Jerusalem, and just before this passage, we read how Jesus had, ridden into Jerusalem on the back of a donkey, and the crowds had been there cheering him on. But there were loads of crowds there in Jerusalem at the time because it was Passover. So not only was there people who normally live in Jerusalem there, but there were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of extra people there in Jerusalem who were waiting for this Passover festival to make this pilgrimage. Maybe they'd been waiting a long time to get to Jerusalem to do this. It was a special occasion, and I'm sure that in that place, in that temple, would have been people who had sacrificed a great deal to get there. It's not like they could have quickly jumped on the train and got to Jerusalem, but they had made a long journey. They would taking time off work to get to Jerusalem to make these sacrifices to their God. And it was a special time. And so Jesus comes into the temple during this time, and he sees there these traders who have set up shop. Now, it's okay to trade because people would come to Jerusalem for a real reason. They'd come to make sacrifices. And most of these people would be sacrificing doves, which were at the lower end of the market of things you could sacrifice. But they wanted to come and sacrifice. And so obviously they needed to have something to sacrifice. So I don't think Jesus thought it was bad that people were selling stuff in the temple that day. But here's what they were doing. You know, the normal price of a dove would have been about 4p. But these traders, they think they had increased it to about 75p for a pair of doves. Now, remember when we used to be able to go to football stadiums or concerts or arenas, and we would buy a can, you'd go to buy a can of Coke, which would normally cost you like 70p, and you'd get to the arena, it would be like, £3. Well, this increase is even more than that. And so these people were just completely ripping off the needy, the vulnerable, those that have made this journey into Jerusalem. And Jesus sees this and he's heartbroken. And he gets angry on those who were mistreated. Jesus knew why he was angry, and that's why it's so important to know why we get angry and who we get angry for. I find it really hard sometimes. I try to be politically neutral. Maybe I don't do a very good job of that because we see loads of injustices in the world, and there are so many things that are unjust. There are so many things that are wrong, and it's hard to know what to speak out about. And I don't want to upset people. I don't want to cause offense to people. And so sometimes I don't speak out when I probably should speak out. And maybe that's the same for you. Actually, for the sake of our reputation, for the sake of appearances, for the sake of staying neutral, we don't speak out about injustices. And it's hard. But as Christ followers, as people that love God, you know what? We're called to stand up and to shout out for the poor, for the widows, for the orphans, for the foreigners, people who don't have a voice. Do we speak out against injustice? Do we get angry about injustices in our world, about those who are being mistreated and who don't have a voice for themselves? These people coming to the temple that day, these people who were being ripped off, they didn't have a voice. And Jesus decided in his anger to do something about that situation. When Jesus got angry, he did it for the marginalized. He did it for those who were mistreated. He didn't do it for himself, but actually seeing people being ripped off, seeing his Father's house being taken advantage of. Jesus flips some tables. Jesus makes a stand. Jesus draws the crowd's attention. People start to look at him, but he does something about it. Jesus reaches out. When he got angry, it was for the mistreated. It was for the broken. It was for the vulnerable. It was for those who don't have a voice. What do you get angry about? Is it about those things? So the other thing that Jesus did when he got angry, and I want you to note this, and this is really important, is that he flipped tables, not people. And it's easy sometimes to point our anger towards people. And hey, maybe you want to flip some people off, and maybe you want to punch some people when you get angry. But Jesus, he didn't punch the traders, he flipped the tables. And it's important to make note of that. I know it sounds obvious, but we flip tables, we don't flip people, because people are important. But the tables, they were the system that were allowing this corruption to go on. They were the system that people were using, and they were the basis of how they were making their money and how they were ripping people off. And Jesus changes the system. He doesn't just go after the people. He doesn't punch the people. He doesn't, throw them out of the temple. He gets rid of the system that is supporting this corruptness. And that's where our anger should be aimed towards as well. Actually, our anger should be righteous, and it should go deep, so that we don't just annoy people. We don't just get angry at people, but we get angry at systems. We get angry at things, the corruptions, the deep level corruption in our world and in our communities. We get angry at the systems, and that's what we need to disrupt. That's what Jesus did. He disrupted the system. He stopped the trading. I don't know if the traders got their tables set back up. I don't know what happened, but he certainly disrupted the system. And we need to pray for a real righteous anger. Not just anger, but we need righteous anger, so that we can flip over systems, so that we too can flip over tables with our anger. And I think it's a massive prayer point. And maybe if anger is something that you struggle with, it's something we need to pray every day at the start of our day. God, give me righteous anger, not just human anger in my life today. And I encourage you, because prayer makes a difference. If you're struggling with something, pray every day, commit every day that thing to God, and it will make an amazing difference. But we have to remember that people are important. So often in our world, we just want to be the people that are right about situations. We need to know that we're right. We want other people to know that we're right. Maybe it's in your family, maybe it's in your marriage. Can you let an argument go? Can you walk away from an argument, even if you know that you are right? We all know people that just have to be right about every situation. And maybe you are that person. Maybe you don't recognize that person. Maybe I am that person, and I need to be right about every situation. And we all know that famous passage, in the Bible, it says faith, hope, and being right. No, it doesn't. It says faith, hope, and love. And love is key to our anger. It's not about us being right. It's about us loving people. Loving people. And Jesus hated the system, but he still loved the people. He loved those traders. And you know what? So in this moment, he disrupts their trade and he annoys them, and they would not have liked Jesus at all. But as we continue to read the Gospel of Matthew, what do we find? Well, a few days later, Jesus is hanging on a cross for those same people whose tables he flipped. Jesus loved people, and we need to pray for a righteous anger. We need to pray that our anger is out of love for people, We don't flip tables. No, we do flip tables, but we don't flip people. Why? Because we love people. Faith, hope, and love, the greatest of these is love. Our goal is not to be right, but our goal is to be loving. And our anger needs to come out of love. That's a righteous anger. That's a good anger. That's an anger that will help us change situations. So again, as you're analysing when you get angry, look at if you're loving. Do I still love these people? Do I want good for these people? There's people in my life, and there's people in my life, not right now, but who I've just not liked. Who I've just, not liked, basically. They've annoyed me. We don't get on. We don't see eye to eye. And I need to be careful in those situations. So here's what I do in those situations when there's somebody that I don't like. Maybe they've done something to annoy me. Maybe we just see differently about situations. I don't want to become bitter, and I don't want to stir up hatred towards that person. So I will pray for them, and I will pray God's blessing upon them, and I will want God to ask God to give favor to that person. And maybe even I'll have to send them a present, send them a gift, sacrifice something of myself, because that helps protect me. It's not even about the other person, but it's about protecting my heart, stopping me from becoming bitter, because love is so important. We flip tables. We don't flip people. And the third thing I think we can notice about when Jesus got angry was that it led him to love and to help the poor and the needy. And we've already looked at this briefly, but at the end of this passage in Matthew 21, what do we see? Jesus has flipped these tables. He's stopped people from trading, and then the hurting, the poor, the sick, the lame, they came to Jesus and he healed them. That anger gave an opportunity for Jesus to do good, for the poor, for the needy, for the hurting, for the sick to find freedom. And that's what should happen with our anger. Actually, it leads us to opportunities of good, to help those in need. Just like Jesus, just like actually he cleared the tables, he made the room so that actually, who could get to Jesus? Those who couldn't get to Jesus before. Those traders were stopping people come to their Father. Those traders were stopping people access God, because they couldn't afford the sacrifice, and so they couldn't come into the temple. And Jesus cleared the temple, and he made a way for anyone, no matter how poor, no matter how sick, no matter how needy they were. He made the way for anyone to come to his Father. And when we get angry, what is the end result that we're looking for? Is it to help those in need? Is our anger, which is aimed towards injustice, is it going to lead to us being able to help other people? Because when Jesus got angry, it was so that he could heal. It's so that people could connect with his Father. It's so that a way could be made for people to come to their God. And does our anger lead to those places? So let's go back to when we get angry with people. How do we respond to that? Well, we respond like Jesus. Jesus who loved on people. Jesus who knew why he got angry. And that's what we should do as well. That's the way that we should aim to live our lives. When you get angry with other people, even when you get angry with situations, we respond how Jesus responded. And one of the greatest things that I find that helps me when I get angry, when I remember to do it, is to appreciate Jesus's love. I think Jesus probably had every right to get angry at us. We sinned, we messed up, we ruined his world. We were the ones that kind of meant that he had to come taking sin upon himself to die on a cross because of what we did. But Jesus didn't get angry for us. He loved on us, just like Jesus. He may have flipped the tables of the traders, but then a few days later died for them. Jesus died for you and for me. He didn't write us off. And so when I get angry with people, or about situations, I try to remember that actually Jesus didn't write off people. Jesus didn't write off situations. He died for them. Just like he died for you, just like he died for me. Jesus died for people. And it'd be easy for us to write people off in anger. But Jesus calls us to love on people. Instead, when we get angry, let's remember how Jesus responded. Let's remember what Jesus did and how, instead of getting angry with you or from me, he loved on us and he died for us. Maybe you're angry today, but actually you're angry with yourself. You're angry with the way that your life has turned out. You're angry with mistakes that you have made. But I want to tell you today that Jesus loves you. And the thing that Jesus gets angry about is when people are cut off from him, when they can't be in relationship with him. And he's dealt with that. He's made a way through the cross for you and for me to be in relationship with him. And so today, maybe you're angry with yourself. I want to tell you that Jesus has made a way for that anger to be taken away, for you to be in relationship with him today. Just commit your life over to him. Give it over to him today. Say, Jesus, I want you as the Lord of my life. I realize I've done things wrong. I've made mistakes. But Jesus, I want you at the heart of me. Will you come into my life? Set me free from those anger issues, Lord, from the hatred of myself, and realize that, help me to realize that you love me, that you made me, and that I am your child. Hey, and if that is you, you want to commit your life to Jesus, we've got people that would just love to pray with you, talk with you, and help you on this journey today. And maybe, hey, you're just still dealing with anger, as we all do. Our prayer for you is that that would be a righteous anger, an anger that would lead you to changing situations that are unjust in your world. So let's be people with righteous anger who change situations just like Jesus did. What do we do when we get angry? Hey, we respond like Jesus did.
Thanks guys, that was absolutely brilliant. This is our Time Online done now. We're just about wrapping up. It's brilliant to have you with us. What I will encourage you to do is share it with your friends. There'll be a lot of people reaching out for something like this. So if you share this with your friends, they can join us next week online on our app or anything like that. So just share. Also, just starting over on the other kids platform, we've got pre-youth starting now. So if you're pre-youth, this is your time. Get on there now. So thank you for joining us. Have an amazing week. Keep in touch. Text somebody in the week who you've not texted before. Ask them if they're all right. Keep in touch with people. Have an amazing week. Don't switch off yet. We've got a little bit more worship coming your way.
I cast my mind to Calvary, where Jesus bled and died for me. I see his wounds, his hands, his feet, my Savior on that cursed tree. His body bound and drenched in tears, they laid him down in Joseph's tomb, the entrance sealed by heavy stone, Messiah still and all alone. Oh, praise the name of the Lord our God. Oh, praise his name forevermore. For endless days we will sing your On the third, at break of dawn, the Son of Heaven rose again. Oh, tremble dead, where is your sting? The angels roar for Christ the King. Oh, praise the name of the Lord our God. Oh, praise His name forevermore. For endless days we will sing Your praise. Oh Lord our God. Shall return in robes of white. The blazing sun shall pierce the night, and I will rise among the saints. My gaze transfixed on Jesus' face.